Hey, everybody, welcome to What the Flick. We're talking about Masters of Sex, Season 3, Episode 11. The second to last episode, I believe.
Yes.
Party of 4, but we also have to catch up a little bit on episodes 9 and 10, and I watched them all together, so I am going to
They're all one big,
stuff,
yeah,
right?
that's fine.
One big 3-hour episode. There was a lot that I liked here, but I didn't like much what was Episode 11, Party of 4, which was their dinner.
A little bit of a letdown. I was expecting more of kind of a bottle episode, like something along the lines of what they did with The Fight, where it was just, Bill and Virginia in that hotel room with maybe a B story, But this one, I didn't feel like they really nailed the dinner thing that well. And then you've got the whole B story where you've got both the accusation of Bill being a child molester and then Libby making that the reason why now she can't leave him.
Right. Alfred, that was this episode too. I mean, because I so enjoyed Libby and Paul's lovely coming together,
Yes.
which felt so genuine. And then thinking, oh, they'll ruin it somehow. We'll find something. Now, thankfully, Libby didn't say right away, yes, we've got to be done. We just left it. So, and we know what happens ultimately. I mean, presumably they'll follow something of the same course of their actual lives.
Right.
But I don't know what happened to Libby, and I very much hope that at least this Libby ends up with Paul and a nicely sort of
some happiness,
Brady-bunched family that will get along, and he'll love the kid. And she's right, though. Like, you can't leave right now. You can't move across town right now, especially in this era, right? Images matter.
People will talk.
So you say, look, Bill, here's the deal. In 6 months, we're gonna wrap this up. I'm gonna go across the street.
After this whole child thing blows over.
Right. And it seems like it will, because the testimony from both kids is ultimately going to be the same.
Yeah.
And he didn't do anything wrong, but it just felt like this, oh, look, no, it's TV, and we're going to screw everything up. We're going to get in your way.
There was some moment where, like, the two of them were being all giggly and kissy in the kitchen. I thought, oh, this is doomed.
Oh, yeah, when they're in the bathroom, and she can't call me Lib,
Yeah.
And they're like,
I was like, okay,
we're not allowed, the show does not allow outright happiness for long.
No. But
Sorry, really quick about that, though. What was a nice moment, I thought, was, I totally fell for Paul's run these errands for me. I was like, I totally thought, oh, man, I didn't think that was, he doesn't get it.
Meet the new boss, same as the old boss.
Right,
but
totally. No. He knew what he was doing,
those were some lovely moments, definitely in the build-up to all that. And they do at least get you invested enough in the relationship where her having to pull the plug on it means something, so that's well done. But I don't know, that dinner I just thought I was so eager about it, especially when I found out that the wife was going to be Judy Greer.
Yeah, I didn't know until she walked on screen, so that was nice. I'd forgotten.
But and she's fine. She's always great, love her. But I wish the writing had been better on this one.
Yeah, just it felt forced. You felt like in this episode there was a formula, and when subtext is done incorrectly, when you don't care about it,
right?
Like also, we don't need any more subtext with Josh Charles and Michael Sheen. Like we got it. We know everybody knows, and everybody knows that everybody knows. So stop with the...
why not just have a literal dick measuring contest while you're at it and just save us all the trouble. The couple of interesting things in the last few episodes that I guess are going to maybe go off in episode 12, or at least be set up as cliffhangers for the end of the season. But Nora, is that the...
Oh, yeah, right. So it turns out she's a spy.
Yeah, she's a plant from the crazy religious guy, so that's going to be a thing.
I didn't like that either. I didn't like the impact that guy was having on Virginia. Like, her appeal is the thing that reason why Bill loves her. It's easy to, I get why Bill and Josh Charles, what's his name on the show? Dan. Why Bill and Dan Logan love her. She's lovable. I don't know why anybody loves Bill. Still don't. Still a mystery to me. But I get why anybody would fall for Virginia, and her, her belief in herself, her willingness, again, as Bill said, that you're not the kind of guy who comes home from work and looks for, your husband comes home from work and you look for a mascara stain on his shirt. You're more than that. She is more than that, but I thought she is beyond being half-heartedly bullied by the religious guy to where she has to turn the Bible upside down to where she's shaken up before she gets on the elevator. I thought she should. The writing that I would have liked out of that was she wins that scene. Like she's the person who, Bill just pulled the guy in and threatened him. Bill can't win that scene, right? His weakness is but she's smarter. I thought she'd say, I think God's ashamed of you. You bring shame. I thought something was going to happen there that would turn the tables.
You're right. That could have been stronger for sure. And then of course now we have the Betty pregnancy subplot, which I feel like is just a long setup for Austin to try and take the kid.
It does feel that way. I hope not.
If he's because he's so distraught that his children have been taken away from him, now this will be one that he can easily grab custody of in any court in the 60s.
I hope not too, because it just felt too. And it doesn't seem like the thing. Again, that guy doesn't seem like the kind of thing that guy would do. Although it does seem set up that way because he'd get that kid.
Yeah.
Right. Nobody's going to let that kid be raised by those two lesbians, any two lesbians. In 1966, we finally found out what year it was. And Joy's death was done so abruptly, although I don't mind that. Although it seemed like she was, the weird thing was it seemed like she was, maybe aware. Like in a couple of scenes, I thought, can she hear what's happening? Is she maybe?
Yeah.
But anyway, it doesn't matter.
She's gone now.
She's dead. She's dead. And we got the scene at the cemetery between the two people who were just sort of abruptly killed in the show. So I don't know. It was, I wanted more out of that dinner scene. And then it just seemed with we kept getting the maitre d' and the waiter showing up. May we serve your meal now, ma'am? Enough.
That was a little sticky.
And the coat.
The coat. God, shut up about the fucking coat.
Man, come on. And then at the end, may I take your coat? Why, yes. I guess the real end was Dan then coming and saying, because he said to Bill, "I've told her I loved her," but had he actually done that, or did he feel the need to do it right then?
I can't remember at that point, but I was looking at the notes that I took. Well, going back to the cemetery scene, so we're to assume that St. Louis had integrated cemeteries in the mid-60s?
I thought that too.
Always bugs me when they pretend that racism was not a thing.
Well, also because they were so effective at pretending that racism, at acknowledging that racism is a thing. So then
exactly. Then carry it all the way. Yeah.
Get it right.
And of course the classical music lovers, that all happened.
Also, did he know that the guy was black? Does Paul know that? Is it Paul?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if in her description of same that came up.
Because if it wasn't, we would also have had a nice moment where she goes, "Yeah, I'd like to go see,
Right.
I can't. Robert. I can't see Robert's grave, and why not? He can't be buried. He's not allowed to be buried here. Yeah. And then he'd be like, "Oh, is he Jewish?"
Yeah, that was good.
He's not black, right? No way, he's black. Yeah.
So we had the gay subplot kind of come out. That was actually kind of interestingly done because that's still a thing. There's a book called Sissyphobia. Like there's still a thing in the gay community about like the more flaming gays and how that makes people uncomfortable. It actually will be coming up on the season premiere of Empire.
Oh, really?
So that was an interesting thing to touch on, because there is that whole school of thought of like, oh, well, we'd get our rights if we would just stop having...
Acted normal.
Normal.
Right.
Stop having parades with those drag queens, It's like, shut up.
No, sure. Right. Well, there's no counterpoint to that, but you were sympathetic to Beau Bridges, again, because in that era, the repercussions
naturally.
are very real.
He's old school and terrified and conservative, and I mean, I don't think the show was demonizing him from that point of view, but I think it was very honestly expressed that point of view existed and frankly still exists in a lot of ways. And then the whole thing with Tessa's boyfriend, I don't care. Don't care.
I don't care either, although I am always pleased when a Three's Company misunderstanding is resolved, and at least that was over. And I thought that scene was okay. Like I liked, because we got power from Josh Charles.
Oh, when he walks in on them?
He's like, stop, sit down. I was like, oh, all right. parenting.
World War II vets.
Yeah, right. It's like World War II dads. They command the room.
There you go.
And then the scene was, I liked that scene because I don't care so much about the boyfriend, but I liked the dynamic of, we've had a lot of chances. How many meals have we had? She asked rhetorically, and Tessa's like, 7. How many times did I take you to school? 3. Like she's just making numbers up, but it's good. It's she's delivering.
She's got a point.
So I thought there was some good writing in that.
So we got one more. Let's see where this thing's gonna go.
Yeah, let's get some, for the love of God, let's get some happiness for Libby and that kid.
Yeah, and maybe a little more Allison Janney. There's always room for Janney.
Always room for Allison Janney. I can't believe she didn't win an 8th Emmy or whatever it was, or she didn't win for Masters
for
of
this.
Sex.
No, but she did win for Mom. So she's now tied with Ed Asner and Mary Tyler Moore for most Emmys. They each have 5. Cloris Leachman 8.
I thought Andy Samberg was okay last night.
He was all right. He was pretty nice.
It was all right. Yeah, it was all right. His thing is I'm awkward. So if you don't know his thing, then
it plays. It was fine.
All right, guys. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.